I'm just gonna talk and hope that I have something that can make some kind of point in this, but I'm just gonna talk. I am angry. I am sad. And I am scared. Me. Someone who is not directly affected by most of what is happening right now. I cannot imagine how it must feel for the black people of this country. How it must have felt your whole life. And I wish that I could have had some sort of insight about this before now. Not that I've suddenly had a, philosophical change in my, thinking process, but it's just yesterday I spent most of my day, as I usually do, locked off away in a game, watching Hulu on my other screen, completely blocked out the world for I don't know how many hours. Because I can. I have that privilege. And then I looked at my phone before trying to go to sleep. And I obviously knew about a lot of the recent things that have happened. I knew about protests and riots that were happening. Totally justified protests. But I saw so many videos and stories of what was happening at those places, at the protests and the riots, what the police were doing to those people. Most of whom had done nothing but be present to protest, which is their right. And I was so angry. This is not okay. What the police are doing, the brutality, the murder is not okay. It never has been. I debated even filming this at all. I may not upload it, I don't know yet. Because I am a white person with privilege. My voice is not the important one in this matter. This is not about me. It is not about other white people. It is about the black people who are being murdered. The racism, the discrimination, and the horror that those people go through every day and have for so long. Throughout this entire country's history, frankly. And it is not okay. What is happening is not okay. And people like me, our voices aren't the important ones. But what we can do is tell other white people that this is not okay. To make them understand what is happening and why it needs to stop. Our importance is to give a platform, if need be, for the voices that do matter. For the black people who are speaking out, who are protesting. They need to be heard. Their stories need to be heard. Because that is what is important. If you have the ability to share their stories, to help raise their voice louder, then do it. Also, there are charities you can donate to help end police brutality. to help end this racism and discrimination that is going to kill everything that this country is, and a lot of its people that live in it. If you are capable of supporting those places, like the Campaign Zero that I will link in the description, because I've found that organization through a person I trust, but there are so many more that you can find on any social media link, any social media site. If you look, just make sure you check them, that they are legitimate and they are doing what you want them to do. Share them, donate to them if you can, or if you're capable and feel safe. I guess nobody should feel safe doing so, I guess, at this point. But if you are capable of doing so, protest with them, walk with them, help them, help everyone who needs it. Things like this shouldn't still be happening anywhere in this world, in this country. But we have a horrible problem that is only getting worse, and it needs to change. And I think it will soon, because something is happening. Something that needs to happen. We need to make sure that when this change happens, it is changing towards the right side. The side that will not murder Black people for their just existing. Where people who do murder these Black people can be held accountable for their actions, that justice is served. That's the kind of country this should be. And we need that change to happen. Yes, something big is coming. And it needs to. Something drastic needs to change. And when it does, if it's not for the better, I can't imagine how we will live in this world with ourselves, with what we have done. I was seeing videos of people standing on their own property, being shot at by the police and military that were patrolling their streets, yelling at them that they needed to get back inside because there was a curfew. But these people were on their own property, standing on their porch of their own house. They weren't shot with bullets. They were shot with paintballs, I believe, or paint canisters. Something was shot at these people simply because they were standing on their own property. Is that the world we're going to live in now? Is that the country that we have? It's a slippery slope into something horrific that nobody wants if they truly thought about it. And seeing things like that, watching people get trampled by police, by horses that the police were riding, being mowed down in the street by the police cars, made me so angry. It is not right. It is not okay. And we cannot ignore this problem, because it's not going to just go away. It needs to change. This movement isn't about me. It's not about people like me. We are the privileged people simply because of how we were born. And we need to recognize that and realize that we all need to get on the same page about what's happening, and that it needs to stop. This racism, the murders, the police brutality all needs to stop. Black Lives Matter. And if people will not recognize that, we are much farther gone than I realized. There's so many times I tried to ignore a lot of things because I could. And it was hard for me to deal with seeing, which feels so ridiculous now. Because I wasn't in danger. I wasn't one of the people being targeted like this. I have never once had any issue with police because I am a white woman. People like me cannot ignore this anymore. Get your head out of the sand. As uncomfortable as it is, you need to face the reality of what's happening here. Help support the voices of those people who matter in this, the black lives, the black people. Support them. Raise their voices, share their stories. Do not let them be forgotten. Police are shooting, tear gassing, pepper spraying, knocking people into the concrete. Anyone who is present at a protest. Do not be blind to it. Don't let it be forgotten. Change it. Because Black Lives Matter. We need to do better. Every single one of us.